At this time, I'm Ian John. With less than 45 days to the 2019 general elections, President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, which has him as chairman. While inaugurating the council, he charged the members to work as a team and also with the Independent National Electoral Commission in ensuring a free, fair and credible poll.
The division of responsibility is clear enough. The leadership that has formulated the campaign policy will supervise its execution. The Director General will have overall responsibility for all aspects of the campaign, including field operations, while the Secretary will be responsible for all administrative and treasury-related activities of the Council. Even though we have only 40 days, this campaign is going to tax us all because we intend to touch all corners of our great and vast country.
And on security issues, the military has vacated the premises of Daily Trust in Maiduguri in compliance with the federal government's directive. And in Abuja, Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari, Garba Shehu, in a statement via his Twitter account, says issues between the military and the newspaper as they affect the coverage of the war in the northeast will be resolved through dialogue. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army says soldiers, along with officers of the Nigeria Police and other security agencies, were at the Abuja and Maiduguri offices of the publishing company to invite the staff of the company over its lead story on Sunday Trust publication, which divulged classified military information, thus undermining national security. The Nigerian Army, in a statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, states that in the said publication, the newspaper disclosed details of planned military operations against the Boko Haram terrorists, which contravenes Section 1 and 2 of the Official Secret Act. And away from Nigeria, the military in Gabon says it has seized power from the President Ali Bongo-led government in the country. The military officers took control of the national radio station in the early hours of Monday to read a short statement announcing a National Restoration Council, saying they launched a coup to restore democracy. President Bongo, who took over power in 2009, reportedly suffered a stroke in October and was treated in Morocco. Mr. Bongo sought to put an end to the rumors about his health with a New Year message in which he said he was feeling fine. And that's it at this time. Do join us at 4 for more news. I'm Ian John.
This is the network service of the NTA.
We as ministers in the temple of...
For anyone on the bench of the Nigerian judiciary, this chamber is the ultimate.
Let us all strive to maintain the independence of the judiciary so as to ensure the rule of law.
And the fact that the ministry is responsible for prosecution of cases makes the ministry very visible naturally.
If it is to buy time, you know who is buying time.
Becoming the first woman in the country to discharge the function.
When you talk about access to justice, there's one Nigerian organization that best seeks to achieve the objective which access to justice seeks to achieve for Nigeria. That organization is the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, created over 30 years ago by the government of Nigeria. The Legal Aid Council of Nigeria opens up the space for Nigerians who do not have the financial capacity to cope with the justice system of Nigeria. Of course, if you talk about the various lapses in our justice system, imagine a person who, in addition to all those lapses, still does not have financial capacity to hire lawyers. And so the federal government created the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria to help these people gain access to the best possible way of getting justice, particularly in criminal matters. On the scale today, we are looking at the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria and what it has done for the financially vulnerable persons in the society. Welcome to the program. I am Femi Okewu. In the last 4 to 5 years now, the Nigerian Legal Aid Council has opened the space for those people who do not have the financial capacity to hire lawyers. And you know that when we talk about access to justice, particularly in criminal matters, getting a lawyer of one's choice to represent the defendant in any case is a constitutional condition. And so if one does not have a legal representation, the law does not allow such a person to be prosecuted. Federal government does not want cases stalled based on that process. So it created the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria to help each person who is found on the wrong side of the law access lawyers who will represent them in their cases in court. But the Legal Aid Council has, since over its 30 years of existence, gone beyond that elementary definition of access to justice. And on this program today, we'll be looking at what the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria has been doing to open up the space and ensure that Nigerians access justice from whatever angle they need it. Enjoy the program. Mrs. Joy Bob Manuel completed her tenure as the Director General of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria in the second week of December 2018. Incidentally, that seemed to be the same time with some other DGs of parastatals under the Ministry of Justice, like the Nigerian Law Reform Commission and the Nigerian Copyright Commission. But the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria organized some events to coincide with this period. One of them is a walk around Abuja to sensitize the citizenry on how they can benefit from the existence of the Legal Aid Council. Another is the opening of a call center. The scale therefore took on the outgoing Director General on these and other activities of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria. You are ending it, if we can put it that way, and let's talk about the establishment of the call center. What is it meant to achieve?
Sometimes in 2010, my predecessor got the permission from the House of Rep Committee on Justice. Part of technicality of increasing access to justice is through the media or through communication. And one aspect is called the call center, where people can phone in wherever they are in Nigeria, and they get somebody to answer who works in the Legal Aid Council, and that person can direct them appropriately. And one of the good things a successor should do look at the programs and move forward with such programs, which I did. Unfortunately, we were moving from place to place. We didn't have a permanent site. And then with the problems of the telecommunications, we were not able to go on with it smoothly. But at the time we moved in here, we now decided that that part of our will to move access to justice to a greater height will be this call center. I also visited South Africa, and it's one of their high points because they were just coming to the field that it did not die, and it's resurrected with a better technology.
Let's be a little more practical. How would someone who needs legal representation, how would the call center benefit such a person? Because the target of that person is representation in court.
Yes. My staff have just gone out for sensitization. And we all know that many Nigerians, whether they are poor, vulnerable, they use the GSM line. And therefore, it will be easy. All we want them to be sensitized about is that there's something called the call center. All you do is dial it on your phone and get help. Most of the time, what I have discovered is that poor, vulnerable people are very scared of lawyers. They think a lawyer must charge them. So we keep on having this battle of convincing them that lawyers are available. And sometimes,
particularly lawyers as provided by the Legal Aid Council.
By the Legal Aid Council. The lawyers provided by the Legal Aid Council give free service. And that is what we keep on wanting them to do. And this is a great opportunity. Sometimes it's a simple legal advice. And now I'll join it to one of the progress the Legal Aid has made. We have started with ourselves to train non-legal staff in mediation and alternative dispute resolution skills. So they can answer, they can give mediation, and then forward more difficult cases to the lawyers.
Yeah, at this call center, lawyers will be receiving the calls?
No, the paralegals. We have the non-lawyers have been trained in simple law, civil law, criminal law, so they know what to do. To advise, sometimes the call may be for Lagos, the call may be for Anambra, and we direct them appropriately, give them the addresses of our offices in the 36 states.
And now back to what you have been doing during your tenure. What has it been like providing legal service for those people who have found themselves on the wrong side of the law?
I'm very fulfilled that I had a background that made me understand the mandate of the Legal Aid Council. As soon as I graduated into law, I joined the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, and I was also very active in my local bar in Rivers State. And in the process of being active, I was in a committee that I didn't know will have an effect on me today, Public Interest Committee. And fortunately, one of the programs took me to the US, where I learned a project called the Street Law. It was a project combined with faculties of law, just like what we have today, the NULI, where law students are brought to understand giving legal aid. So as soon as I understood the mandate of the Legal Aid Council, I went to work immediately and discovered that with the development partners who pointed the way to best practice, we were able to find our defining rules. We are defined by three main things. One, the government bureaucratic structure cannot recruit so many lawyers. Therefore, we have to partner. And one of our partners is the MBA that has the teeming number of lawyers. And this brings us, which is also in our mandate, to partner with them under our Section 18. And when you partner with them, you have to have certain things in place, one of which is the clearinghouse. That means they register with us, which is also in the Act, and then they take the cases. We have a national database, and then the pro bono scheme becomes a reality. The second is the paralegal scheme. You need foot soldiers.
Before we go to the paralegal, let's talk about the pro bono. The pro bono scheme is for the lawyers,
yes,
for the Nigerian Bar Association.
The pro bono scheme is engraved in the mandates of the Legal Aid Act of 2011. And that means that you encourage lawyers willingly, not by force, who willingly want to give free service. And we have been working with them tirelessly through the years. I don't give up on anything, and we've tried to bring them into projects we have so that they understand what it takes to give pro bono service. And what it takes is commitment, conclude the case you have, and have it well recorded in a database. And that is where we are, to the extent that the immediate past President Mahmoud signed an MOU with the Legal Aid Council in 2017. And as I speak, we have a partner known as ROLAC, Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption. They are partnering with us on a project, and it involves MBA, Chairman of Human Rights Desk, so that we get, in fact, but in 5 states, we get our private lawyers to understand what it means to give the pro bono.
Whether we like it or not, filing cases, instituting actions will cost some money. Yes. Who bears that?
Cases are free. Nobody charges you. So that's where we are, trying to make the MB understand that you don't announce yourself, you announce and then the processes are free, and that even with the UN guidance and principles, lawyers are supposed to give back to society, even if it's a case, only one case. Just do a free service to your nation.
And how receptive are the individual lawyers? Since they have to walk in here on their own volition, how very receptive are they to this?
They have been very receptive. I'll tell you that aspect of partnering with us by filling the right form. They have been doing it. The other aspect of not dropping a case in the middle of it. That is where we are. Try to finish it. And all the bar chairmen have assured us that they will institute disciplinary actions on lawyers who are fond of dumping cases in the middle of the way. We just have to mature to our counterparts in well-developed areas. Once you commit to taking a case on pro bono, please conclude it.
We visit prisons with you, and you visit very regularly. How is the representation, going by the fact that we all know that there's so much awaiting trials in convention?
I'll tell you this, the challenge is also human resource. We have the financial resource and we have the human resource. We are not enough. And this is linked to what the pro bono system I'm talking about, because lawyers tend to get a bit worried about money, and they tend to dump, or they do not like the idea of going to take awaiting trials, simply because it's not rewarding in that sense, but it's quite rewarding. It's the opposite is happening, and they've told me that.
Closely related to what you have been talking about is the paralegal unit. What do they do?
It's a new scheme in Nigeria. What it means, paralegal means people who are not real lawyers, like the paramedicals and so on. It's a gap, to fill a gap where you don't have enough lawyers to do. The needs are so much that you don't have enough lawyers. So you train, we started with our staff, but we've been able to bring in some external people in our projects, where you teach non-legal staff some rudiments of law, civil law for civil mediation, then criminal law. Those who go to the criminal law part is based on a model developed in Malawi, where they don't have enough lawyers. So they have a very good paralegal system, whereby the non-lawyers are trained, then they go to the prison, get all the particulars of a prison, an offender, awaiting trial person who does not have the money for a private lawyer. Then they link it up to the lawyer, or they go to the police station where a file is missing. They go to DPP's office to ensure that files move, and they also go to court to find out dates, adjourn dates, and that it will not be arbitrarily shifted. Then there's another group that helps the offender to reconcile with his family. There's an aspect of law that we have not taken very serious, the victim and the offender reconciling, where just like in Rwanda, where they say they apologize for their deeds, is a very important part of the process of healing victims and bringing offenders to justice at the same time. So the paralegal is a very, very important person in the justice sector.
One of the weak points of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria is that it depends wholly on the federal government or government funding. In this partnership scheme, which you talked about earlier, how about the partnership helping to fund the Nigerian Legal Aid Council? Is it allowed?
It's true that the legal aid, according to the Act, depends on the funding from the government. That is because that's the model the government chose. In a country like Jordan, it's a private organization giving some grants by a lot of organizations and the government. So there are two different models. And then there's this model called the Judicare that the British UK ran for a long time, but now they have it's not in place anymore, so to speak. So the aim is, this is a government effort for its people. I always tell people, look at it in a way that government gives free education, government gives free health, and then when it comes to your rights being trampled upon, the government is also saying we can give you free lawyers so that you don't suffer undue, to make it a strong, a change of mindset actually, that this is the way to go for the teeming population in Nigeria.
Look at some of the activities, some of the programs you have carried out during your tenure, and give us a brief assessment and possibly how to chart a way forward in some of these.
Well, the first program I took part in was sponsored by a Japanese development bank, but supervised by the World Bank. They started the paralegal training for us, strictly civil, because civil means matrimonial causes, landlord-tenant, financial cases, and then not crimes, not financial crime, just simple loans, and then land matter. Land matter is mainly civil, but it can go into criminality. So we learned a lot. We learned that these projects, when you go to certain areas, like Kaduna State had its own traditional dispute resolution matter, you have to work with them. You have to make them understand that we are not taking your traditional way of resolving disputes. So it opened the eyes of the staff, and we have all seen that in different areas, watch the way they have always done their own dispute resolution, and flow in with them, help them with certain training. And by the time traditional rulers, religious rulers, and so on are working on disputes and settling matters, I'll tell you that it will go a long way for the poor to access justice.
Now, as you move on in life, what would you wish, when you look back, to see the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria doing?
I would say I admire the legal aid of South Africa. The legal aid of South Africa is a bit more progressive in the sense that whatever they propose, it's a parliamentary system. The minister takes it to parliament, and generally they are given all the funds they need. So in Africa, I think they are the best, and we follow.